Hey, what's up, gamers? And 5150 here, and we're back to do a benchmark. We have not done a performance review or benchmarks in a really long time, but each one of the Modern Warfare series that's come out, I have definitely done one of these on at least one of my systems or laptops. In this one, we are going to be looking at the MSI GF75 Thin, which has a 17.3-inch screen on it with 144 hertz. We are using the i7-10750H with an RTX 3060 8GB. This laptop is actually pretty good when it comes to gaming. It's not bad. It does get a little bit hot, not as much as the HP Omens that I've done, and I do plan on getting one of those videos out sometime soon. But it's been a while, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of these graphics. We're going to be testing this in both 1080p and 720p, and we're going to go through the different levels of DLSS that you can use to see how much or where we should actually use our DLSS when using this laptop. All right, so I set this up so we can do all of them at one time. You'll start to see that, on the left, we have DLSS completely off, and then we're going with the quality, then the balanced, the performance, and then ultra performance. Now, the ultra performance, I'm starting to think that this may not be the best option to use under pretty much any circumstance, because we kind of start bottlenecking quite a bit, and you don't want to just pretty much get less visual quality at the same amount of FPS that you're really getting. But if you can see here that the balanced performance and ultra performance kind of perform very close to the same. Now the non-DLSS is definitely way lower and definitely dips, and then the balanced or the quality is going under that 60 frames per second sweet spot that you kind of want to see, and that is kind of what throws me off a little bit. You just don't want to get under that 60 frames per second. I know a lot of people out there, they can definitely game under 60 frames per second, but it really turns out to be more of a personal choice for somebody, because I don't know, in first-person shooters, I definitely want to be at least over 60. Now, the FPS that you get on your laptop is going to depend on how much heat you're actually getting. So if you keep your laptop as cool as possible, you can get, decent frames per second, even if you're sitting at the quality level and, in 1080p. But, a lot of times it's just not possible. After a long-term playing, sometimes the CPU is going to get hot, and the computer is going to compensate for that and try to bring down your clock speed so that you don't lose that much game performance, because it is set up for that. Now, when I did these tests, I did keep my fan all the way on, and it is pretty loud. Just to keep that in mind, it does get pretty loud. If you're using headphones or something like that, it's noise canceling, they'll be fine for you, but for others in the house, if you have other people around you, it's going to be really freaking loud. And this fan definitely gets really, really loud, so you want to keep that in mind as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and check out the 720p version of all this. Now, in 720p, I personally, I can't really stand having 720p. The edges just look a little bit too jagged when you're on a non-720p monitor. If you have an actual monitor that's running 720p, it looks all right. But when you take a 1080p and then you have it scaled down, it just doesn't look that great. But it's still a decent gaming experience. So if you look at these settings here, or I should say these results here, you can see that it's kind of the same with the 1080p, where your sweet spot is pretty much at balanced. Balanced, you're definitely getting a lot more FPS, where it's a little bit more worth going with it. And I wouldn't even say that much, because on this one, I think in 720p you could be fine with quality, because if you look at that, you're getting well over 60 frames per second. You're getting a lot closer to the 144 frames per second that you can get on this monitor. But remember, it also has G-Sync, so going over it would actually be good if you could stay over it. But it doesn't really seem that possible unless you start taking down some of the graphics of it. Now let's take a look at all these together on the 1080p side. Looking at it from left to right with DLSS off, we got a low of 34, an average of 68, and a max of 89. Now, 89 is from my Afterburner. For some reason, their benchmark does not give us an actual high, so that's kind of like it depends on when I actually started my benchmark with Afterburner. But let's go on to quality. We have a 56 minimum. We have an average of 93, 110 on max. The balance goes with a 67 of 99 on average and a max of 116. The performance, we're looking at 71 low, a 103 for our average, and 118 for the maximum. Ultra performance, almost the same thing as we've seen on performance, which is 71, 102, and 119. So like I was saying, you know, that kind of sweet spot here is around that balance. If you want to always make sure that you're over that 60 frames per second in most cases, I'd probably go with, you know, performance. Performance definitely looks like it has a lot more you know, possibilities to stay over 60 frames per second, you know, have a decent and pleasant experience while you're gaming. Now let's take a look at the 720p results of all of these. Now again, we're looking at the DLSS off at a minimum of 63, a 104 average, and a 125 for max. The quality is at 183 minimum and a 124 average, and 139 for our max. Balance, we're looking at 91, 128, and 140. Almost the same as we're seeing on the quality. And when you go quality to balance to ultra, I'm not even going to go through those. You can see those are pretty much the same thing. So you definitely don't want to go over balanced if you want to keep that visual quality. If you're going over to, you know, performance and ultra performance, you're just kind of losing the quality of everything because you're getting the same frames per second than you are getting on, you know, balanced in quality. So if you go to 720p down to that, definitely I would stick at quality. You get a little bit more frames per second. DLSS off, I definitely wouldn't do, only because there's still a possibility that you can go under that 63 while you're in a live game. So, you know, I would definitely stick with 83. It's a safe spot. You're definitely over everything, and it'll keep a more pleasant gaming experience. Now, understandably, this laptop is still quite expensive. Right now, I'm seeing on Amazon it's around it's around $1,400, and you can get some deals on these. And I'll put links in the description below, like I always do. But you know, it's just they're very expensive, even for a 3060. Now, if you're wondering about the 3060 on desktop version, just remember it's about 10% more FPS than you get on the laptop version. Raven 420 and I, we did a few tests with the with his RTX 3060, but he since has gotten rid of that card, so we can't really test that now, and I don't have an extra 3060 on me. I will probably do a little bit on the 2080 Ti and hopefully on the 2070 laptop as well. We'll see how the future goes forward, if you're actually able to play this. If you also notice that we are using an earlier driver because of the crashes that we've been seeing, the driver had to stay at one of the lower ones, or else I just wasn't able to actually get the game going for more than, you know, 5 minutes at a time. Anyway, that is all we're going to do for this video. Let me know in the comments below what kind of performance you're getting, if you're able to actually get into the game, because I do have 3 videos up on some of the crashes and fixes that you can possibly do, but I know it's not working for everybody, and that completely sucks. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching this video today. Make sure you hit that like button and definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel. Y'all take care and happy gaming.